Okay, in January of 2015, we lost one of our firefighters who was at the rank of Division Chief to thymic cancer. And the process from the time that he discovered he had cancer through his treatment, his recovery, and then his recurrence of cancer, it was difficult not only for him and his family, but also for our fire department, as we're a 60-member fire department. And so all of us are very close. Russell Chism was his name, and him and I got promoted to Division Chief the same week. So our career kind of paralleled each other. And during the time that he had the cancer, we were competing for the fire chief's job. So we had a fire chief just retired. So it affected our department, obviously his family, and me personally. It was somebody that I worked close to, somebody I conspired with, somebody I argued with. You know, we butted heads several times, and so, you know, you grow close to somebody. And he was truly a member of the fire department that was loved, respected, appreciated, and you know, we were all a part of that disease that he suffered. Okay. See?
Like Chief Nightliner said, as a part of his passing, he was loved by a lot of people. Being a small department, everybody was affected by that. And seeing that, everybody came together to honor him as we laid him to rest. But this is an opportunity for us to honor him now as well. And that's a big part of this study. That's why it's really important for us to be able to be a part of this, to continue that honor for him and figure out that there are reasons for cardiovascular disease that we might be able to figure out, that we might be able to help for the people that are coming behind him and help them so they don't have to go through the same things that he did. We do spend time with the family, just like Chief Nightliner said. We went to the memorial. We've spent a lot of time with them, just making sure that they're coping okay. And seeing their struggles are really tough too. So that's another big part, is to give them the relief that we haven't given up, it's very important to us to figure out what's going on as well, and to honor them in the family's eyes as well.
Super. Well, looking at that, certainly you have a much different motivation than a lot of other folks. And looking at what you did today, kind of relate to that. Is there a nugget that you're taking away today in your experiences today and what you're seeing that you'll take back and immediately start to say, hey, we've got an opportunity to change some things?
I think for me, one of the things that was brought up today in the roundtable afterwards of the panel interview was taking for granted washing. Just washing your hands. I mean, they drove the point home very quickly, and that is that we do come out and we do go straight to grab a quick bite or grab a quick drink, and we don't take that opportunity to wash our hands. We don't take the opportunity to get the garbage, the toxins that we get on our skin, on our gear, off before we consume, before we continue about other activities. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that we can control. That we can't control the toxins, but we can control how we maintain our hygiene and maintain getting those toxins off of our body. We just take it for granted sometimes. So that's probably the biggest thing that impacted me from today and in these events.
As a chief staff, after Rusty's passing, we looked at where the quickest ways we can affect change in the fire department, because the way guys work, the condition of their gear, the way they perform in a fire is a cultural thing. Just like it was mentioned today, masking up at the front door. I can't imagine asking a firefighter to mask up out at the street. You know, in his mind, that's one less minute that I've got in that house. You know, most firefighters are willing to take that risk to get that extra minute. So that's a cultural thing. Taking your regulator off inside the house so I can talk to you. Okay, I'm not gagging, I'm not choking. You know, it's got to be okay. That's a cultural thing. Even washing your gear. You know, it's a very difficult thing to take one of the old crusty firefighters and tell them, go wash your gear, go clean your helmet. So that's a challenge, challenging that culture and changing the behavior and the way we do things. We see that as the challenge for our chief staff, and even the way we do our procedures now, and even how we manage a fire.
So looking at that, Chief, you mentioned challenge. and there are undoubtedly going to be some people that are going to push back at any form of change. But here we're talking about training, something that we have 100% control of, but it also threatens something as well. What we find from these live burns, maybe we are burning products that are putting our members at risk. What would you say to somebody who is kind of throwing that flag, we don't want to know? Given your experience and given the motivation for you guys to be here, is there something you would share with them and say?
Well, I think we owe it to our families to protect ourselves. I know as soon as I was appointed to a division chief position and I was in charge of a shift and I would go to a fire, and just thinking about the responsibility of all these guys that are working for me on this 24-hour shift, the most important thing I can do is make sure I give them back to their family the next day the way I got them. And that's got to be number one. So to be able to train and convince our people that they need to take care of themselves, I mean, there's only so much that we can do in managing, but there's a lot of personal responsibility. And that's where we have to change the behavior, change the culture, train into that. I mean, we've since we bought digital simulation and smoke machines that work with the digital simulation, so we can do live fire without being in live smoke. And obviously, we do want live fire sometimes, but now we can replicate that as close as we can with our digital equipment we've got.
Stephen, any?
I think, again, I'll revert back to the panel. One of the things that the panel said was we take care of our equipment, fantastic, but we don't take care of our people. And I think that's a big thing too, is investing into our people to make sure that we're taking care of them and we're providing the tools that we need. And I think going through the things such as the chief said about buying hoods and making those steps are going to be a good progression to work towards the goal of trying to figure this out and keep our people safe. But I think that was a great point of just investing into the people more, if not as much as the tools that we take care of too. So.